So I'm thinking this video, this fine hot rod's gonna drive out of the garage on its own power. At least that's my hope. I did start doing a little bit of work because the camera had to charge up. So I've pulled the seats out. I did finish that little bit of welding I had just in the back on the wheel well, and I seam sealed it. And now I'm going to start installing the carpet. So I have my heat gun out. So I kind of heated up around the tunnel and a few things just to kind of fit a little nicer. You can see how it's kind of fitting nice here and a little clumped up on that side. Now, I've done a bunch of carpets. There's all sorts of ways to do it. I don't know what the right or wrong way is, but I do. I like to start on one side and work my way across by doing everything, just so the carpet won't move. And so the next thing we do is I'm going to put the seat in, I'm going to put the shifter in, and then we'll seat then sill plate, and then just trim the edge to go. So, that's what we're going to do. Subscribe to the channel, leave a comment real quick so you can let me know I'm doing it wrong. We'll power through this sucker. So, here is the one thing, well, one of the things I hate about Tri-5 Chevys is the shape of the floor. They have a big hump that stops right here, and then it drops down flat here. And the way the bench seat's designed, obviously it would bolt here, here, and on the other side so it can go up for whatever the reason is. It has a little, whatever. And it drives me nuts because it just goes up right here to here, and the rest of the floor is flat. I've seen guys in there, they'll cut it all out and then they'll flatten it and all that. So when you're trying to put a bucket seat in, like this one, it has this high spot. So you gotta put a spacer on that side, which I did do. And now it's got this gangster lean on it. So you gotta put spacers or something across the back. I usually just put a piece of like 2x2 or something like that to lift it up and bolt it down. Alright, I got that off my chest. For now, I just put the two in the front and it's good enough. For now, I put a block of wood under it. I don't want to drill as many holes as possible because who knows what the next guy's going to do, right? You can still use the factory holes and all that if you want to put a bench seat in this thing. This is the shifter. I've bought lots of these. I kind of almost feel responsible. The price of these things goes up. I bought so many ratchet shifters off Amazon. I used to love the B&M V-Gate. I think I got that in my car and Danny's car. But then they just went skyrocketing in price. So then these TCIs started buying them for like 150 bucks, and I think it's my last one I bought for 150. Now they're like 200, which is drives me nuts. Because everything I buy never has a freaking shifter in it. And I mean, you can screw around, do whatever, but this is just quick and easy. Comes with all the stuff, the miscellaneous mounting hardware. It comes with all the stuff you need for the transmission, like to the pan and all that. So this does Chevy, Ford, Dodge. I think 3 and 4 speeds actually. It's got the stickers, it's got micro switches for neutral safety and backup lights, so it's completely legal, and it's got the cable. So, not a terrible value, but whatever. We're just gonna hook it up real quick. I'm gonna put all the switches in, but I'm not gonna wire them, I don't think, because again, the next guy can do what he wants there. So pretty simple. You're supposed to bolt these down. You know, I just self-tapper them. I've never had an issue, which makes it 1,000 times easier. You're not screwing around trying to tighten the bolts on the inside of the tunnel above the transmission. So put it where you want, self-tapper it, you run the cable through, and then, I don't know, it's like 6 inches ahead or something like that. You drill a hole in the floor, which is another reason you don't want to have that side of the carpet down. So you can roll it over, mark it, drill through, and then you just put like a little slice in the carpet, just like one little X, and then the cable will go right through it. So we're going on that. Alrighty, so this is kind of what I was talking about. I just kind of put the shifter about where I feel it's going to be comfortable-ish when I'm sitting there. So I'm sitting back, I can, you know, get it out of gear no problem. And let's be honest, when you're banging gears, you want to be where it's kind of more comfy, which is back there. I cut my one little hole in the carpet, which is nothing, because this piece actually will cover it. So that's that. The only trick you want to do, which I've done this myself, before you get it all dialed together and all that, the cable has to run a specific way over the transmission, one way or the other, and it's much easier to pull the cable out and route it the way you want than if this thing's already bolted down and now you're trying to screw around underneath. That's my 2 cents, do whatever you want. And then I'll just take some self-tappers. Anchor this sucker to the ground. These might be too short. I'm hoping they'll be okay. Oh, they're too short. Boned it. Look at the other ones. All right, take 2. Perfect. So now the trick with these, you don't want them too long because then they're sticking way down. So you want just the right size, the old Goldilocks. So there you go. All you gotta do is put the cover on, you spin the ball off, you gotta take this little piece off, slap it on. It's got a couple screws. She's good. Depending what you do, you may have to just trim around the edge to fit the tunnel a little bit. I don't know if I'm gonna luck out or not, but a lot of times I just cut them square and be done with it because it's so thin, you never notice. Let's check that out. See how nice that fits at the bottom. It's all pretty good. A lot of people are scared of these ratchet shifters, and you know what? I used to hate installing them. But once you do like 13 of them, it's actually not so bad. So, I mean, you have your park lockout in reverse. You can pull back into neutral, but you can't go back into reverse. Neutral and drive are always no big deal. Then it's one click. 1, 2, 3. You're done. Simple, clean, easy. Again, I like the Hurst ones. No, B&M. B&M Z-Gate, I think it's called. It just looks a little bit more like an actual shifter. This is pretty racy looking. It doesn't have a light on it. The other one I think had a light on it and stuff, but it'll do the trick. Anyways, I'm going to clean up all my junk, and I think I'm just going to finish the carpet on that side while I'm in the mood for it. I got spaghetti legs out, so I can put that up now. And then I think we'll do the seat maybe tomorrow or never. We'll see how she goes. Alright, so I figured I'll just kind of show you what I do now. It's pretty simple. Hopefully it's kind of hard to get far enough away. But step 1, what I always do, put a fresh blade in the knife. Because this carpet just chews through it like there's no tomorrow. Now I put a little bit of heat in the carpet in a few spots to get her kind of close. You want to be careful, this stuff can melt, and if you put the gun down, it will melt. Ask me how I know. Now, I have this, the sill plate, so I mean that's kind of where I start, is get it kind of close, kind of make sure the carpet's all the way over, there's no real creases or nothing like that, and I just slit the end a little bit on an area I know I'm going to not really use. Now there should be some kick panels. We don't have that option, so we're just going to kind of eyeball it, just so the carpet kind of will fold over a little bit into the sill. Same with the back. So now the carpet's kind of flattened out. Now it is actually hanging past the sill just a little bit, so we'll take just a little stretch of it off. And I just kind of eyeball this in just to about where I want it. Kind of split the difference front and back. Now this is where it gets a little hacky. There's supposed to be proper screws and all those things. We don't have that option. But we do have self-tappers, and the sill plate, where they go in, they're all countersunk, they always rot, which means this one's no different. So I just put a big head self-tapper in there. Whoop. Try not to kill yourself. There you go. She's just that easy. So, I didn't really show the back here, but once it's kind of in, I just kind of take the blade and do whatever you think kind of looks right, and then you're good. Up in here, it's just tucked in. Again, there should be a kick panel. Like, this is what's remaining of it. There's, I guess, cardboard. I've actually never had one with the proper kick panel, but you can make something or whatever, right? So that's that. In the back, same thing. I just kind of lay it up to the side, and you could trim it, because as you put the door panel in, it would go right there. The back seat actually starts here, so you could cut this whole piece out. I'm just going to leave it down, because again, I have the back seat, but it's just the springs, so whether I even put it in or not, who knows. I might just keep it for myself for a future two-door project. But yeah, there you go. That's our leave for a night. It's a little after 10 o'clock, and I'm kind of tired and hungry and lazy. But tomorrow we'll probably put the seat in. You can really see how much of a lean that seat has now. So it needs to go up just a couple inches in the back. So I'll have to get something for the back there, a bolt on it. And same, put the passenger seat in. Pretty simple, drill a couple holes, make sure it's the same. I always, you know, I'm tall, so I always put the seat all the way back and then put it where I think it's comfortable. Like, I'm 6'2", 6'3". So if you were in this thing, you wouldn't have a whole lot of room in the back seat. My 55's like that when I'm driving it. Away she goes. But it can always go forward, and these big bus wheels really make it a pain. So do that. Tomorrow, we'll hook up the transmission stuff underneath, because right now it's just dangling. We'll do the brakes, because I think we'll probably bleed the brakes, make sure there are brakes, find all the leaks and all that. And then, if we're going to change the radiator, just kind of deal with this for the time being. See if I can get a little bit better of a tune on it so we can actually run. Oh, put her outside, put her in the creek. I'm done with this thing. Well, she's the next day. I decided just to fill this radiator up, and as the higher I went, the more leaks it had. So I think this top tank is just mangled, which maybe could be fixed. Just I don't know, whatever. Anyways, so it got coolant up to about there. So at least there's coolant and stuff in the motor, enough to run it just a short amount of time. We left it where the interior is all together. I gotta do a little bit more cleaning up, but you know, it's in. It is what it is. There's us seat in there. That's all that really matters. So today we're gonna finish hooking that shifter up underneath. But before we do that, I was gonna work on the brakes. So this thing's got brand new brakes, plumb front to back. Other than I think the rear wheel cylinders I didn't do. But anyways, brand new master means you have to bench bleed it. So that's what we're gonna do real quick. I've made these up before. When you bench bleed it, they give you these little, like, you know, crappy little hoses that you jam in there, and it never works and all that. So all you gotta do is you gotta fill it up, and you know, I jam a screwdriver in there, give it a few pumps, and it just, all the air gets out of it. And then we can hook it up to the car and then start bleeding the whole brake system. Unfortunately, it's a lot of under the car stuff. Bleed the underside of the brakes, hook up the transmission lines underside, and hook up the shifter underside. And then we can probably drop it down, maybe try and run it just a little bit. Sounds like a plan? Alright, very, very simple procedure. But if you forget to do this, you will have issues. So all you do is you put the lines in. You want them kind of under the brake fluid you're about to put in, so it can't get any air back in the system. So if you ever just keep, if you ever take a brake system apart, just keep the lines off the master, and it's the same thing. Like I said, the junk they give you just sucks. If you don't do this, you'll never be able to bleed the brakes. It probably won't show up, but it'll just be a bunch of air bubbles come out. You just want to give it a bunch of pumps until no air comes out. Here's what you're looking for as you push in. It's just cycling around, but there's no air bubbles coming through. win. Well, you'll have to take my word on it, but the shifter is installed and actually does something, even though it acts the exact same as it did yesterday. It does shift the transmission. See, look, the bag's open. All the parts are out. What else did I do? Oh, I put brake fluid and stuff in. I managed to gravity bleed the fronts. The back doesn't really seem to be going, so I'm going to have to get Danielle out here, have a little fight while we bleed the brakes. I made a hell of a mess actually in the front. And then the transmission lines, I just ran some transmission line up to a cooler. I just screwed it to this core support, which I know is kind of tacky. Typically I would just put these like right on the radiator with those push pin things, but with the radiator being junk, it's not the case. So I left slack in the hose so we can still do that with a new radiator or whatever, and I gotta decide if I want to put a fan on it, an electric fan. So there might be a little screwing around. The other thing on, I forget what car it was, they just drilled a couple holes in there and the hose came out, and then the cooler on the front side, which is also super easy to do. We got transmission oil in the sucker. A few little odds and ends to do, but really I think it should be almost ready to kind of test. I had a few vacuum leaks actually. That's probably one of the reasons it was running so crappy. So I put a bunch of caps on and I put the distributor to ported vacuum instead of just the manifold, which I guess is where I had it for some reason because I'm an idiot. So I got some zip ties. I got to go around, make sure the wires are off the exhaust, double check all those things, and bleed the brakes. But I'm gonna have a little lunch break. Then I'm gonna plead with Danielle to come out and help me, do a little bit of cleanup, and I'll drop this thing down, see if she'll move on its own power, or transmission's garbage, or brakes leak everywhere, or pick one of those. Well, we got her down on the ground. 2 lug nuts in every wheel. What else do you need? So I've made a little makeshift charging system, just the battery charger. I ended up doing just a few little things. I put a proper ground on the block to the chassis, zip tied some of the wires away. I got the time light out. We're just gonna see if we can set the timer real quick without getting it too hot. I was taking the vacuum vans off the distributor, and I noticed the distributor's dead loose, so the timing may have been affected just a small amount there. But overall, I think we're ready to go. So I'm gonna see if we can get this thing fired up, get it idling, set the timing, set the carb just a little bit, enough that it'll kind of run okay, and then we'll see if it has gears, forward and reverse at least. Maybe drive it out of the garage. I think that's pretty exciting. I don't know when this thing... Ghosts. I don't know when this thing last ran or drove, I should say. The guy I got it off of had it for years, and he got it from a guy, well, it was in a ravine. Like I said, it was gonna be either a race car for him, and before that it was a parts car. So it's got to been off the road for many years. So it's pretty exciting to see it's gonna roll to the shop after probably the better part of a month and about 150 hours. 150 hours, eh? So it's basically a full-time job I did in the afternoons to get this thing going. I don't know what I'm gonna do next. It's kind of almost all together. A little bit of interior stuff and miscellaneous again. I think I have headlights and the trim and all those little things, but you know me, 80% done and I'm done with it. while she runs. Sounds like it's got a miss for sure. So that's a bit of a concern. I put all the tranny oil I had in it. It's a little lazy going in and out of gear. That being said, it does have that high stall in it, so that may just be what I paid for. So let's see if I can track down another couple liters of fluid. I'd like to have a little bit more in there. Check out while it's running. I don't want to get this thing too hot. Like I said, there's coolant in it, but she ain't turning, so yeah, we're still okay. But yeah, we got tracked down. It's clearly got a miss or something on the passenger side. I mean, let's be honest, miscellaneous plug wires, all that stuff I got going on. It probably just needs a tune-up. It's got a brand new distributor, miscellaneous coil, miscellaneous plug wires, and a new set of plugs. But I don't know. Anyways, I'm gonna clean up a little bit here and move my junk out of the way. Thread the needle there. I'd like to put this thing outside behind the giveaway hot rod, and yeah, make a little bit of room. I'm stoked though. A little more tuning would be nice though. Well, let's see if the old girl will do a little burnout, eh? Nothing too crazy. It's got lots of oil pressure, no brains, no water pump, no charging system, no cares. The car kind of blends in with the camouflage. Oh, I can't see. Yes. It's always such a good time. I love garage burnouts. I don't know how the neighbors feel about them, but that's what'll happen. All right, we're gonna let this air out just a little bit, and then I think I'm just gonna drive it outside. Plunk it right in the street. All right, well, then we're gonna close this one out. I'm gonna drive it out so it runs, did its first burnout. It's gonna drive out of the driveway or out of the garage for who knows the last time it did that.
Oh, I'm not camera ready.
Be a camera with Danny. Hold the bottom. So we should be good. I don't know what I'm gonna do with this thing now.
Oh, it's very smoky in here. You don't realize it when you first walk in, and now you realize it.
Smell it. My problem is the second I do the burnout, I'm just 100% done with the car.
Well, isn't that the only part that really matters?
That's all I really like about hot rods is the burnouts and holding on quarter pounds. It's kind of 6 smokier in the car than it is.
Jesus.
Alright, let's see if this thing starts still.
Accidentally cussed pretty bad while it was popping.
Yeah, she's a little noisy.
So you're gonna have to just do some bleepings.
She's a cranky old girl. Alright guys, that's it for this one. I don't know, like I said, we'll figure something out to do next. I gotta clean the garage up. It's supposed to be nice weather tomorrow, so maybe we'll, I don't know, do something. Subscribe to the channel, tell your friends. I don't know, maybe comment. Get paid out.